What's up, ladies and gents in Cyberland? This is Chris coming to you with another video for RGMF, and today I'm going to be reviewing another album by the Deftones, Saturday Night Wrist. So, this is Deftones' fifth album. It came out in 2006, and I would say it didn't come off as too experimental. However, what I did mention about things were kind of bubbling in regards to relationships and issues and stuff was really coming full throttle. At the time, the band was just starting to have a lot of dysfunction. It wasn't becoming cohesive anymore. For whatever reason, could have been ego, could have been drugs, could have just been... You know, the members may have been having problems outside of the band, and it was just, we're all human. We're not always having good days, or we're going to have bad days too, but maybe with the recording this album, it just got to be way too negative, way too much, and in a way, it was almost like, I think with Saturday Night Wrist, the band came to a fork in the road, where either we're going to continue, or we're going to quit. It had gotten to that point just because there was just so much stuff to where each member was having problems to a degree, or maybe not, but the fact is Chino was having problems. Things were just not going well with him and the other members, and I believe Chi had mentioned at one point that they were having issues with him. I don't know if all the other members talked about it, but I remember it was talked about. It's funny too, because I remember when I worked at this ice cream shop in Shoreline Village, there was this guard that he was a security guard, and he actually knew, I don't think he personally knew the members, but he knew about the band. And I think during that time, they maybe had performed in Long Beach at one point or another. And it's funny because he mentioned that he didn't say who the members were. He just said the big dick is being a dick to the little dick. And I was just like, I didn't get that. He said they were both cool guys, but that was his way of wording it. And now when I think about it, after seeing that video years later, I think it was Chi was having a problem with Chino. And I think that's where a lot of the problem was with the recording of the album. And I think one of the last songs that was recorded was Hole in the Earth. But if you listen to that song, it first starts with, "Can you explain to me how you're so evil?" And I'm just like, I wonder, and there was a lot of songs on there that was almost like talking about leaving the... I think Saturday Night Wrist was an album that was a lot of... it wasn't... it didn't flow. There was tracks that just... It almost felt like it was a bunch of songs just put together on an album just to get an album out. The record label also wanted the album to be out because they felt that the Deftones subtitle didn't make as much as it could have. But I also don't... But I think that was just because, the cohesiveness in the band was just not there as it was with Around the Fur and White Pony. At least... for me, listening to those albums. So, that was the issue. And then, with Hole in the Earth, Combat, Kimdracula, Beware. No, not Beware. But, Rapture, and another song, Xerxes, I think it was called Xerxes. If that's the right way you say it. Those songs, and of course Hole in the Earth, those songs really kind of give an idea that this album was being made and that there was a lot of problems in the band. And it was the lyrics were pointing that out. Now, that can also be up to interpretation, but what I noticed about those songs in particular, the theme of each one of those songs was about leaving or going somewhere else or not being bothered with a specific person or specific situation. To me now reflect when I first got the album. By this time I was into Deftones. When I first got the album, I was kind of like, okay, it was flowing. It wasn't full like every single song I immediately clicked with, but also I didn't feel. I liked it to an extent better than the last album, the self-titled, but I also didn't feel that the cohesiveness for that album was there. It kind of felt like there was something going on, some issues, and now we know that when you look at on it, and when they talk about it too, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like that was literally the beginning of where there weren't going to be any more Deftones music after this. So it's not a bad album. I do. There is a song on there I do not like. It's I think it's called Pink Cell Phone. I don't like it. It's not necessarily. I mean, I'll listen to it, but I don't care for it only because of the female that starts talking and the stuff she starts talking about. It's like, you know what? I don't want to hear that shit. Like the sexual, all that. The graphic nature of that song. I just didn't care for it. I was like, what's the point? Like, what was the point? Also, this album had a first instrumental for the band, and the funny thing is what it's called: up, up, down, down, left, right, B A, select, start. I think that's the Nintendo code we got for Contra. I think that's the full code, but it's written to where you wouldn't think that unless you're like a gamer. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that's what they're instrumental, and then overall, it's a weird album to me. It's a good album. I don't rank it higher than a lot of their later works too, or before that. I do rank it higher. Yeah, I rank it higher than Adrenaline, but it's right under self-titled. And the reason why is so I'd give it 4 out of 4 yes sirs, but I feel it just wasn't as cohesive as the later works that came after it, especially Diamond Eyes. Diamond Eyes was the next album after this, and that was a huge step in a different direction and a better direction, but that's neither here nor there. It just felt, when retrospect, when I still listen to it now, you can tell it was just like, it was a dark place for the band. And it just didn't correlate as well as it could have. And the really sad thing about it too is it's the last time that we heard Chi Chang play, because not too long after that, the band reconciled their differences and came to the conclusion they still want to continue. They made up and they all put themselves in a better positive vibe. But unfortunately, recording Eros, an album that I really, really hope we get at some point. If not, at least just get to listen to the songs that were recorded. During that recording, Chi got in a car accident and was thrown from the car, and he was kind of in a comatose state for a long time. And a few years ago, unfortunately, he passed away. And a lot of the members, not just the band, but people who knew Chi, they did a song for him as a memory to him. But it just sucks because this was the last time we get to hear Chi, besides the song called "Smile" that got released by Chino online. Apparently, that outside of that, that's the last time we get to hear his work because he's no longer among us. And I really think the band should release, even if it was just 3 or 4 tracks, I think the band should release it regardless of what maybe whether the fans like it or not. Just release it because it was the last recordings that Chi, at least release the songs that were last done with Chi, so the fans get to hear the last stuff Chi did. Because right now all we got is Saturday Night Rest and the song called "Smile." And that's not to say that leaves it on totally a bad note, but it'd be nice just to hear an album that was more cohesive and felt like a better output, I guess you could say, than what we got with Saturday Night Rest. Maybe there's some songs that are really a lot greater, a lot better written, and just from guitars to the instruments, the lyricism, just the way the songs go. Maybe there's some songs that we haven't listened to that are with Chi that are better than what we got on Saturday Night Wrist. I don't know. They could be actually worse. You know, I think Smile's a good song, but right now, outside of that and Saturday Night Wrist, it's pretty much the last time we're going to hear, at least for now, what Chi did. So there's my rating, and for my top 5 songs, I give Hole in the Earth. Or no, not Hole in the Earth. That's number 2. So Combat, Hole in the Earth, Kimdracula, Beware, and Rapture. I think I would probably give an honorable mention to the instrumental, because it was nice, it was different, and it flowed with the album though. For what was going on, it was just different. Again, Pink Cell Phone is the only song I don't like on the album, which is why I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I think if the ending of that song was cut, maybe I would give this a 4.5 out of 5, because it's not a bad album. It's just I felt that I didn't get the point of that at all, and especially coming from a band that their lyricism in general, just the way they do their things, it doesn't point that way, and I just felt like what is this, like, seriously, what the hell. So, you know, that's my review. And yeah, if you're gonna check out Deftones, I wouldn't advise checking out this album unless you just want to go through and just get an understanding of the band in general. If you've already got other albums by them, I would say check it out. But if I would say, oh, that's the first time you want to listen to this, absolutely not. It's not one of those albums where it's like, it's not Around the Fur, it's not White Pony, it's not even a Koi no Yoken, it's not even a Diamond Eyes, it's not even a Gore, you know. And Gore was, and that's a whole nother review. But it's just, you know, it's not a bad album. It's just that's not the album I would refer to people who want to get into Deftones. That's not the first album. That's not even the third or fourth album, I would say, just because the drama around making that album. So yeah, so let's just you know, cue the music.